Welcome to Boss Up Goddess. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, author of the upcoming book, Boss Up Goddess, Start Living Your Effing Potential. I go live every night to talk about powerful topics that can help you boss up and be the goddess that you're meant to be. And today I am going to talk about 10 reasons to love Bridgerton. It's this, if in case you aren't aware, it's the top streaming show on Netflix right now, produced by Shonda Rhimes, and it is absolutely spectacular. Not only is it lush fantasy entertainment that's intelligent and engaging and romantic, but it is also making powerful commentaries about society, race, women, and a whole lot of other things that we're going to talk about tonight. So, the number one reason I love, out of the 10 reasons I'm going to share with you, the number one reason to love Bridgerton is it's a delicious escape from reality. That's why we watch things, right? But watching this streaming program on Netflix with its lush colors, its witty dialogue based on the Regency novel by Julia Quinn and created by the showrunner Chris Van Dusen, and it's set in early 19th century British society in London. It is a lush escape from the coronavirus pandemic, the bad news, the scary stuff, all the stuff we've been enduring in 2020. And now it's 2021, but the news is still there. So watching this program is like blocking out the whole world. It nourishes your mind, body, and spirit in so many ways. So thank you, Shonda Rhimes. This program is absolute brain candy, but it's profound and provocative and intelligent all at once. Got some more reasons for you. Oh, wait, the delicious escape. When I say delicious, okay, the colors are like cupcakes. There's sparkle. Oh my gosh, there's gowns, there's balls, there's chandeliers, there's mansions, palaces, delicious food, dancing, diamonds, it's feathers. It's just lush. It's a feast for the eyes. And I'm just talking about the setting and the clothing. When you look at the characters, especially my man Simon Bassett, who is the Duke of Hastings, played by Regé Jean Page or Regé Jean Page. I'm not sure how to say it. It sounds super French. But anyway, gorgeous, okay, captivating. And the young lady, Daphne Bridgerton, is just delightful as well. So thank you for this awesome casting. So watching the characters, they're beautiful people. The dialogue just crackles with intelligence and wit and repartees. And oh my gosh, it's awesome. So that's the first reason to love Bridgerton. It is a delicious escape from reality. The reason number two is that race is not the story amongst this multiracial cast. The queen is a Black woman. The Duke of Hastings, I think it's his aunt. She is a Black woman, very powerful. And there's Black people throughout the story, all throughout all the scenes, and there's no mention of race. It doesn't matter. And that's how the world should be. It just doesn't matter. So that's reason number two to love Bridgerton. Race is not the story, even though there's a multiracial cast of characters set in a time in history when there was no Black queen and there was probably no Black duke. But it's just beautiful to behold and to watch. That's how things should be. So, similarly, reason number three to love Bridgerton is that it's an interracial romance. An interracial romance is not the story. The story is love. Love between a man and a woman, a gorgeous man and a gorgeous woman at that, very intelligent, very witty. Their dialogue is just like so sharp and crackling and like engaging. And oh my goodness, it's just beautiful to watch. And then the romance, it's like on a slow simmer, and then it reaches some boiling points, but that are appropriate for that very, very modest time in history about what's appropriate behavior between men and women in public. And so just when they hold hands, and there's a scene where he gets way more provocative than you would expect, and it's just hot. It's hot. So, interracial romance is the main theme of the story, but that's not the story. It's just love, and love has no color. Take it from me, the daughter of a Black and Italian woman and a man who's English, French, and Italian. So I'm all of the above, and I celebrate and embrace all of the above. But as a deeply spiritual person, I know that spirit has no color. Spirit has no culture. Spirit has no race. Spirit is simply pure love. And that's what Shonda Rhimes so brilliantly portrays in this story. So that's reason number 3 to love Bridgerton. Interracial romance is not the story. Romance is the story. Reason number 4 to love Bridgerton is that love. Who doesn't love a love story? And who doesn't love the conflict and the internal turmoil of a man and a woman who love each other on this intangible spiritual level? And yet there's all these forces keeping them apart. It's just quintessential romance novelesque, and it's delicious. So, losing yourself in the fantasy of the romantic pursuit and all the entanglements that occur, including one with a prince and a diamond necklace, and women who are jealous, and oh my gosh, it's got all the goodies that you could possibly desire in a hot story. So, reason number 4 is romance. And one woman actually swoons. It's just awesome. Reason number 5 to love Bridgerton is the women. Even though the women can only aspire to marry well, which is a horrific idea for modern women and was for them as well, women had so much power back then in their own way. So let me rephrase that. They were oppressed, but they used their power amidst the oppression to get what they wanted. So here's an example. Daphne's been chosen by this super creepy guy who wants to marry her. He's just a total jerk. He's creepy, and he will make you cringe. Okay, she's cringing. The mother knows this, and the mother is all about being a society woman who's proper, and she has all these daughters and she wants to marry them off well. And so what she does to help get her daughter out of this gross romantic entanglement with this creepy guy, I forgot his name. She says, what do we do as women who need to take action within the confines of our oppressive existence? She said, we talk. So she orchestrated, I don't want, spoiler alert. Don't watch this part if you haven't seen it yet. She orchestrates this whole meeting with the mother-in-law not to be, and the maids extract information from the other maids, and then they get this really scandalous nugget of gossip about the guy, and they spread it all around town. Guess what? engagement is over, ultimately. That's just part of it, but it was awesome. It was showing that women can find a way to wield some power in situations that are extremely oppressive. It was just a rah-rah moment, like, yeah, I love this. So their expose was awesome, and it was all about women power coming together for the common good to make something good happen. So that was number 5, the women using their power despite the oppression. Number 6, reason to love Bridgerton is it shows us how to boss up. Now, these women could only aspire to marry well. They were trained to be beautiful, to dress perfectly, to have poise and all the great manners and play the piano and crochet or knit or do all these dance perfectly, be presentable to society. And if the queen anoints you as the girl or woman of the season, you are just it. And all the men want you to as their bride. And so it sounds awful to modern women like us, but it shows that we have power, even, and this is similar to the other one, we have power even in situations like that. So the most powerful woman in the book, aside from the queen, is this woman named Lady Whistledown. And she writes this newsletter that people purchase and get all the hottest gossip about everybody else. And it rules. If she says you're a dud, if she says you are the it girl of the season, it's done. And she has all this insider information, and nobody knows who she is. Nobody knows what her real name is, but the men at their club and the women, everybody reads Lady Whistledown's newsletter. And so Daphne, the one who's the most eligible bachelorette of the season, she has a bunch of sisters. One of her sisters is a super feminist, and her name is Eloise. And she's always just cringing at the idea of having to put these women on parade to be chosen by a man as a wife to just get married, have kids, cook, or oversee the house, and etc. So Eloise is very vocal about her opposition to the way things are. And so one day she's at the market and she's with Penelope, who's, I think it's her sister or her cousin, I'm not sure. But anyway, Penelope's adorable. And so she's talking about they're looking at feathers. Okay. And the symbolism is brilliant because Eloise is like, I don't understand why women have to put a feather in their hair as a fashion statement just to illustrate basically that they're birds in a gilded cage, pretty much. That's the symbolism there. And she says, why must our only options be to squawk and settle or to never leave the nest? Meaning daughters who become an old maid and never get married. And when she says squawk, she means like parade around like a bird to be chosen by a husband. Or settled for somebody like the creepy guy that Daphne was engaged to or chosen by. Okay. She says, what if I want to fly? You know who's flying? Lady Whistledown. She is up in the sky, a brilliant woman of business who fools the entire time whilst pocketing their money. Imagine the life she must lead. You can be sure she's not stuck in a ballroom every night, preying on a man to marry her, pretty much. So I loved that passage, that scene where the feminist sister, Eloise, says, Lady Whistledown, a woman writer, but anonymous, has the most power in the story. She's flying. She's a brilliant businesswoman. And so that's the message in number 6 reason to love Bridgerton. A woman is basically the boss of society because she's a writer and she has the power of the pen to influence everybody's thinking, talking, and behavior. And the sister, Eloise, so brilliantly summed that up in her comment about Lady Whistledown flying as a brilliant businesswoman despite the oppressive circumstances for women. Now, let me just share that. I used to teach English literature for college level students, and women back then and before that, like 1600s, 1700s, this was the 1800s, they were not allowed to read and write. They were called scribblers when they tried to write. And a lot of women published as anonymous or under male names like George Eliot because they couldn't get published as women. And so for Lady Whistledown to be the most influential character in the story is a huge statement about the power of women writers in this era. So it's like you're just cheering her on, and we're of course wanting to know who is it, but it's really fun. So it highlights the power that women can have in society despite oppressive circumstances. So okay, well, that was a nice little reminder. So then, um, oh, reason number 7. Reason number 7 is that it shows how far we've come in terms of sex. The Daphne Bridgerton and her sisters don't know how anyone gets pregnant. There's no sex ed back then. Women were not allowed to know or speak of or be told about sex, about pleasuring themselves, about babies. And so reason number 7 to love Bridgerton is as a reminder to show how liberated we are now in terms of sex. So there's a scene where Penelope asks this woman, where do babies come from? And they're about to eat some cake. And the woman says, cake. And at first it seems like a joke, but then you realize, there's that saying, having your cake and eating it too. When obviously cake is referring to sex or a woman. So in that saying, so anyway, it's really awful that the women don't know about sex or how babies are made. And then there's a scene where a woman actually dies in childbirth. And so it shows the horrific consequences that women had because there was no birth control and they just had to have as many babies as their husbands wanted or that as many times as they got pregnant. And so there's that super grim reminder of that, the dangers of childbirth back then. And secondly, that they weren't told about sex, probably were not expected to enjoy it. And there's this awesome scene where the Duke, again, this is a spoiler alert, so don't watch this part if you haven't seen the series, but the Duke tells Daphne about self-pleasure, and it was just such a hot exchange when he told her in beautiful way, and it was beautifully expressed. And then she discovers herself and her ability to pleasure herself, and it was really powerful and beautiful. So then that's number 7, why to love Bridgerton, because it reminds us as modern women how far we've come in terms of sexual liberation. Now we know everything we need to know. There's all kinds of toys you can get. There's all kinds of definitions you can use on your own sexual identity. You can do whatever you want with whoever you want, whenever you want, except there's a pandemic. But so it's just a great reminder about how things used to be and how good they are now in terms of women's sexual liberation. Reason number 8 to love Bridgerton is As an English major, I read so many English literature novels like Jane Austen and such. And so to watch on a screen all these characters, settings, awesome dialogue, plots come to life in a beautifully cinematic extravaganza is just a delight. Not to mention when you're reading a book, you have to sit there and do the work of reading every line and deciphering, letting it all play out in you have to concentrate. When you're watching something, you just sit back and just chill and watch it and enjoy it. So as an English major at the University of Michigan who read a zillion novels, like Portrait of a Lady by Henry James and Jane Austen and all those good stories. Virginia Woolf, loved her. It was like my device brings all that to life thanks to this amazing series. So it's really, really fun. It's like flashback to being an English major, but with a modern twist because we have devices now to just watch things. So that's reason number 8. Reason number 9 to love Bridgerton is that it shows family dynamics in a really unique manner. Daphne sees that her parents love each other, and she is striving to have a marriage based on love, not social standing or how much money the guy has or any other irrelevant matter. She's all about the heart. And so, of course, the conflict in the story is that she can't have the man that she wants, that she's in love with, and he's clearly in love with her, but they have all these reasons that are keeping them apart. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm so excited to find out. So that's reason number 9, just shows family dynamics and love at the core of it when two people come together in true love and stay together, create a family, and then thrive. Because there's all these scenes where they're like all in the same room, and there's music, and there's books, and there's like games, and there's people are just interacting with each other. It's pretty cool to show this big family all together, and love that. So it shows the power of family that's created by real love. And number 10 reason to love Bridgerton is it's a reminder to boss up, goddess. This show is all about being the biggest, baddest, boldest woman you can be. And when you watch this story of girls and women whose main aspiration in life is to stay chaste, to adhere to these strict social standards in order to marry for station in life, power, privilege, social standing. That's their whole life. And that's the only reason they're valued is for their marriageability. And then you look at us today in 2021 as women, we can go to any school we want. We can do any job. We can start our own business. We don't have to marry, or we can marry a woman if we want to. We have no rules like that like they had back then, which were extremely oppressive, crushing, and deadly to the spirit. And so watching this program, though it's tremendously delightful in all these ways I just mentioned, is a reminder to boss up and use the power of our modern world where women can be and do any freaking thing we want to do and do it. We have no excuses. 0. It's a new year. Today is January 1st, 2021. It's time to boss up. It's time to leave all the excuses in the past. It's time to leave fear, worry, doubt, Anything that's been holding you back, it's time to leave all that in the past. Now, it's not like a suitcase that you can just drop off at the door and step inside and be a changed person. It takes work. So, in order to release the baggage of that, do some exercises, work with a mentor, a coach, some kind of program where you can identify what's holding you back and learn how to release it, heal it, and create a new strategy to step forward. Believe you me, I am working my ass off, not literally, to do that. And it's been a process for many years. And I have new revelations. And I'm using the full moon of this week and the new year and all the changes in the cosmos, such as the December 21st Saturn Jupiter conjunction and the um, winter solstice and the age of Aquarius dawning, where our spiritual elevation is in the 5D now. Use that power. All the forces, literally, of heaven are with us right now to transform ourselves and society. And you do that when you boss up and become the goddess, the powerful woman in mind, body, and spirit that you are born to be. And when you watch this brilliant program, Bridgerton, you see how women used to have to live. No more. Look at the power and privilege we have now. Use it. Use it to create your best life. Use it to create the best life for other women and your family, the community, and the world. Use it in a way that's going to leave a lasting legacy that uplifts people everywhere. So, what is it? Is it writing a book? Is it starting a program? Is it starting a business? Is it going back to school so you can do all those things? What is it for you? We all have a divine life assignment. What's yours? Now's the time to figure it out. There's still some quiet time before the world charges forward on Monday, January 4th, when, it's the new year and the business world gets back in action after the holiday break. Use Saturday and Sunday, or whenever you watch this, use some time to go within, get quiet, still, in solitude, figure it out. Who am I? What do I want? What's blocking me? And what action steps do I need to take? I have a workbook called Power Journal that I created, and it asks those 4 questions, and it helps you figure out who you are and why you're here and what you're supposed to do and how to do it. So, watch Bridgerton on Netflix, the series by Shonda Rhimes. Brilliant, lush escape and powerful message for women to boss up and be the goddess, the powerful woman in mind, body, and spirit that you are meant to be right now. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins. My new book is all about that. Boss Up Goddess, Start Living Your Effing Potential comes out on April 4th. You can visit twosisterswriting.com, and it's in our store for pre-order. Meanwhile, you can catch me here on the Two Sisters Writing and Publishing channel every night at 8 o'clock with a whole bunch of other programs as well, where I talk about how you can live bigger, better, and bolder. When I go solo and interview trailblazing women who share their wisdom with you. Please like, share, subscribe, and please, I want to hear a comment. What do you think about this? Are you watching Bridgerton? Who's your favorite character? Do you relate to any of the points I just made? Do you love it for these reasons as well? Please tell me. I'd love to hear it. Subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and you'll know every time I go live or upload a new video. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins. I'm so happy you shared this time with me. Remember, boss up, goddess. You have the power. I'll see you next time.